What's up, everybody? How's it going? Austin Prechtel, Prechtel Elevate Performance, coming at you live today. As everybody's tuning in, we're going to be talking about the topic of protein and why it is so important and why you are probably slowing your own progress down by not getting enough in. There's some obvious reasons why that might be happening, but there's as to why that's might be happening for you, and then there's also some more like specific circumstances as to why protein is important and why you not getting enough in it in your day to day and skipping out on it is probably screwing you over a little bit in the long run. So while we're tuning in, while we wait for people to tune in, let me know how your day is going. Let me know how it's going today. Happy Wednesday, happy winning Wednesday. As you're tuning in, actually, share a win with me in the comments. Let me know a win that you have had today or this week. Wednesdays, I always like to celebrate the wins because it's one of those things where if you focus on the positives, you're more likely to have, see the positive shit going on in your day to day and create that positive momentum, keep it going. But yeah, a little later than normal today. Just been busy. So trying to making sure I'm still showing up though, getting this live done. But yeah, so anyways though, protein. Yeah. So there's a couple of reasons as to why, not only like as to why protein is important, but why it's like pretty essential to your fitness journey and to make sure that you're optimizing your your time whenever you're working towards it. And protein is one of those things most people, if you're not on a fitness journey, you are almost certainly not getting enough in your day to day in your diet. Honestly, like so many people don't get enough protein in on a daily basis. It's not even funny. The American diet, not super conducive to a high protein diet in general, or even just a moderate protein diet. Like the American diet's very like carb and fat rich, like it is. And a lot of times the protein items that people eat are like stupid high in fat too. So it's one of those things to keep in mind. Hey Laura, how's it going? Yes, protein bad day tomorrow way better. Heck yeah, get that protein in. So there's a couple reasons though, like why you're potentially like today we're gonna be talking about like why you could potentially be slowing down your progress by not getting enough protein in. And I've got four reasons here, or I guess technically three. But before we kind of talk about those as to why they'd be applying to you, like regardless of whether you're in a fat loss journey, so like weight loss or fat loss journey, or you're trying to build muscle or body recomp, protein's essential to like both of those processes. Like if especially if you want to look how you want to look when you lose weight, like making sure that you do it the right way, you're gonna want to make sure that you get enough protein in. A lot of people, I see so many people just losing weight to lose weight. And yes, in some situations where it's like a major health concern where you need to hit a certain deadline by, or you're trying to like for like a surgery, or you're trying to, you know, make sure that you're decreasing your risk of heart attack or something crazy like that because it's gotten to that point where it's that unhealthy for you, then yeah, okay, like weight loss, like focusing on just like straight up weight loss regardless of what the weight is made up of, if it's a lot of fat and a lot of muscle versus just minimizing the amount of muscle lost compared to fat, like that's something like that's between you and your doctor at that point. But I encourage like you though, like for a lot of people, who don't know what they're doing whenever it comes to like losing weight, and they just kind of do it the like flying blind method and eating whatever they want whenever they're doing it and not getting enough of each macronutrient in the proper amount, you're gonna end up losing a shit ton of muscle, and you're probably gonna like not be as happy with how you look whenever you get to your weight loss goal. So that's why I'm talking about this, guys. Like that's why it's important to know about this, whether it's for and for obvious reasons. If you want to build muscle, you have to eat enough protein. Like you can't build muscle out of carbs or fat. You can't. It's not going to happen. If you're not getting enough protein in, like yeah, you'll see some slight changes just from lifting weights like and whatever at the beginning. Like everybody gets some sort of noob gains from it, but if you're not getting enough protein in, you're not going to get as big as you want to get, or you're not going to get as muscular, as toned up, or whatever you want to call it, as you want. If you're not giving your body what it needs, your body cannot build muscle out of fat or carbs. It can only do it out of protein. Muscle burns fat, right? Question mark. Muscle does not technically burn fat. So like you lose like technically muscle burns more calories. It requires more calories to maintain lean body mass, lean muscle than like having like fat storage. So as like a like by default, you will burn more calories on a day to day the more muscle that you have, but muscle doesn't like directly burn fat. Specifically to answer that question, but that's a good question though. That's something that's a common misconception that a lot of people have. So I'm glad that you asked that. But why it's important to you though, like now that we got it out of the way, like because it's important. Like it's an important component, making sure that you have like enough protein, adequate protein, whether you're trying to lose weight or whether you're trying to gain weight. You need it no matter what if you want to do it the right way, if you want to do it optimally, and if you want to get the best results. And so that's what we're here for. And if you want to get the best results and optimal results, and if you don't get enough protein in, you're slowing your progress down, or you're getting subpar results compared to what you could have been. And everybody wants the best results, right? Everybody wants to get the best results possible. Let me know, give me a thumbs up, drop some fire emojis if that makes sense in the chat while you're watching this, just because I want to make sure that you're following along. Also, if you're watching this later time, #replay, let me know that you saw it. But getting into why exactly. So and I've talked about this before. A lot of you guys, if you've watched my lives, you have a general idea, if you've at least heard about the thermic effect of food. The thermic effect of food basically means that food, like macros, macro-wise, carbs, fats, protein, out of those three, protein your body requires the most energy possible compared to those three to break it down. It requires more energy to break down protein and for your body to use it properly than it does for carbs or fat. So what that means is that the more protein you eat, by default, the higher your metabolism technically has to be because it's processing that. And so if you eat more protein, you're gonna burn more calories by default. So that's one reason why. So if you're trying to lose weight, great, awesome. Like the more protein you eat, to an extent, like some people take it to the extremes, like with carnivore and things like that, which everything has its place. Some people can do it, and it works for them. It's not the most sustainable thing for like 99% of the population, and you could potentially get hemorrhoids if you're going like true carnivore. So I would not suggest doing that. But no pun intended. But if you are thinking about like the thermic effect of food though, making sure that you get the more protein that you get in, the higher your metabolism is going to be. So I see some fire emojis. I see you, Kelsey. Kira says, yes, when I don't get enough protein, I feel totally sluggish compared to when I do get enough protein. Yeah, the other thing too is if you're not getting enough protein in, you're not giving your body the building blocks it needs to properly repair the muscles that you're breaking down when you do your workouts. Like when you work out, you create micro tears all in your muscles. You create micro tears, and your body repairs those with the protein that you eat. And if you're not getting enough protein in on a daily basis and consistently enough, you're just damaging your tissue, and then you're not giving your body the bricks or the cement or whatever to rebuild it properly, and you're just gonna keep wearing it down, and you're gonna get injured more likely, potential you're more likely to get injured, or you're gonna have shitty subpar results compared to what you could have had if you would have ate enough fucking protein. Yeah, and so that's one thing too. So thermic effect of food, okay, makes sense, right? Makes sense. You the more protein you eat, the higher your metabolism is going to be, which means the faster you can get to your goals. And if you're somebody who is trying to build muscle too, that's also you need it to do that, right? So, another thing, muscle building, I just kind of went over this, but the other reason why protein is so important for progress, it is what you build muscle out of. Right? You can't I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care if you're a frugivore or you're same goes even if you're a vegetarian. You need to get your protein in. That's one of the things it's super important that a lot of vegetarians have to pay attention to is their protein intake and trying to find it from other sources, because if you don't get enough of it, you can't build muscle. You can't. And why is that important? Well, if you're trying to gain weight and build muscle, obviously you need protein. But if you're trying to lose weight, and kind of what I talked about before, if you want to look and be happy with the way you look when you get down to your weight loss goal, in tandem with strength training, making sure that you get enough protein in, so that way your body doesn't, because when we lose weight, anytime we try to lose weight, we lose fat, but we also lose a little bit of muscle. You can lose a lot more muscle if you're not doing what you should properly be doing to mitigate that, in terms of strength training in tandem with proper nutrition, aka getting enough protein in, so your body doesn't digest a bunch of your muscle. Because whenever you go through a weight loss phase, why do you lose weight? Your body is breaking down your fat storage. It's breaking down the food that is like has been turned from food into fat on your body, and it also will take and pull away muscle tissue too. It'll use muscle tissue and break that shit down, and use it to it'll burn that shit off to maintain and sustain your body while you're losing weight. So you need to give it a pretty damn good reason not to steal all that hard-earned muscle away from you while you're losing weight. And if you're someone who hasn't had a history of strength training, and you're trying to lose weight, that's another reason why I have my clients strength train, is to maintain the muscle that they have and build some new muscle while they're losing weight, but also to make sure that they don't lose a shit ton of it whenever they get to their goal weight. So that way, you're happier with the way you look. You're stronger whenever you get down to that point. It's another one of those things too that not for everybody, but for some people, it's one of the best ways to help limit the amount of loose skin. I'm not saying it's going to make it to where you're not going to have any loose skin at all. Like, it's different for everybody. I can't make that promise. But some people see, like they've shown that, they have less loose skin the more muscle that you build while you lose weight, like while you're going through a weight loss phase. So if you get enough protein in, boom, there you go. You're going to have a higher potential to maintain and retain and build muscle while you're losing weight. So that's why it's important too. So that's number 2. 3, the mindset, the mental side of things is not being as hungry all the time whenever you're trying to lose weight, not being like feeling like you're starving all the time when you're trying to lose weight. Protein is pretty fucking awesome. It has the highest satiety, whatever you want to fucking call it. I like satiety, but I know it's satiety probably. Either like out of all the macros, compared to fats, compared to carbs, protein is the most filling. And not only does it cause you to it causes you to feel full quicker, so your hunger signals like slow down and stop, like you get full quicker, which is cool. So you're less likely to overeat during a meal, right? Plus you're satisfied, you feel satisfied, so you're less likely to want to eat more, like less frequently, right? So you're not going to be as likely to snack later after your meal, and so that the mental aspect there, as well as the physical, in terms of hunger cues, in terms of feeling full, makes it a lot more sustainable. Makes it to where you're not miserable all the time because you feel like you're starving all the time. Getting enough protein in, a lot of times, that's why it's so important to make sure that you're getting enough protein in whenever you're doing a weight loss phase, especially. And honestly, like if you're trying to build muscle, sometimes you might want to dial it a little bit back, as long as you're still hitting the correct amount of grams per pound of lean body mass, that you need in order to build muscle. That's why maybe you shouldn't eat like I know some people, they'll eat like 300 grams of protein in a day when they're bulking. It's like if you're they just feel like sick all the time because they're so full. Maybe you want to dial back the protein a little bit there if that's what you're doing, because you're making yourself feel way fuller all the time than necessary if you're trying to build muscle and bulk up within reason. But if you're trying to lose weight, it's a great fucking mental break. Like to feel satisfied, to feel full, to not feel like you're starving all the fucking time. And so, that's another reason. Like it's super satiating compared to the other macros. And so if you feel full, you're going to be less likely to binge. You're going to be less likely to snack. You're going to be less likely to cheat on your diet or your nutrition plan. And so, protein's pretty awesome for that. So, making sure that you're getting enough protein in on a daily basis is super important for like multiple reasons that are laid out. So yeah, let me know if that makes sense too. Let me know if that makes sense. I want to make sure that people are following along. I want to make sure that you guys that this makes sense to you. But make sure at the end of the day, I know so many people I can tell all the live long freaking day, eat your protein, get enough protein in. But, at the end of the day, sometimes people just won't do it. And sometimes it's just a matter of, figuring out ways to fit it into your diet to where it makes you happy. Like a good rule of thumb that I have people follow, that I typically have my clients try to follow, try to get anywhere from 5 to 8 or 9 ounces of lean protein source per meal. If you eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, it might have to be a little bit more if you only eat 2 meals a day. Or, potentially if you get like a snack and have a protein shake, something like that. Because doing that, you're going to get anywhere from like 30 to 50 grams of protein in per meal. And for most people, getting that, around 150 grams of protein for most people is going to be adequate, unless you're like really tall or you're already, a larger individual in general. And so, keep that in mind. My alarm's going off. So keep that in mind. And so, yeah, so that's why. So that's why it's so important, guys. But at the end of the day, some people just won't do it. Like, some people won't do it. You can tell them to do it all the long day. They'll be like, oh, I'm going to do it. They're just not taking it seriously enough. That's fine. Like, you're going to get shittier results. You're probably going to be like, a lot hungrier than other people are. You might not be, you might not see as great of progress compared to someone else or, another version of you in an alternate reality that did eat the protein that they were supposed to be eating. Because it is that important. Like, your body's not going to just magically create fucking muscle out of nothing. Like, it's not. And I hate to burst your bubble, but like, sometimes people just don't want it bad enough. They don't want it bad enough. They don't want the results enough to like switch and change their lifestyle to consume more protein on a daily basis because maybe they have an aversion to it to an extent. Maybe they, maybe they're picky. But at the end of the day, the people that do the work and the people that eat the protein that they're supposed to eat are going to get the results that, that they want. And the people who aren't, they're, playing with their results potentially. Well, for sure, they're playing with them to an extent. And so, I just want to be honest with you guys about this shit because, so many, like, tons of people don't get enough protein in, and then they get to the end of their, like some of my clients, and they'll get to the end of their plan or their goal, and they're like, why isn't this working? Why am I'm so hungry all the time? It's like, are you getting enough protein in? No. Okay, well, why aren't you doing that yet? I don't know. It's just like, you can strategize all the long day, but it just comes down to doing the work or not doing the work, right? Like, doing the work or not doing the work. You know how many fucking times I have had a day where I have worked all day and I didn't eat anything because I was so busy working, and I get to the end of my day and I eat a fucking pound or a pound and a half of meat and a protein shake just to get all my protein in the day? There have been so many times that I've fucking done that because I want it bad enough and I know how important it is and I care about my fucking goals that I'm willing to do whatever it fucking takes to make it happen. And so sometimes you got to ask yourself, like, am I doing am I willing to do whatever it takes to get like optimal results to reach my goals? Most people don't have to do that, right? Most people don't have to do that. Most people don't need as much protein as I do, but sometimes you got to do what it takes. And there's been times where I've literally I've cooked a whole fucking pound of lean hamburger or ground turkey or like 4 chicken breasts or something like that. I'm like, all right, let's fucking do this, and I'll do it. It's not fun sometimes, and that's on me for poor planning or getting distracted and working too much, and not eating. But at the end of the day, I still get my food in. I still get my macros in for the most part. So you got to ask yourself sometimes, like, how bad do I want it? Do I want it that bad? It all comes down to like, wanting it bad enough, strategizing, making sure that you're doing what you need to do in order to reach your goals. So, but that's just the reality of the situation. And 9 times out of 10, most of the problems that people, have or are struggling with, like when it comes to their nutrition plan, could be solved with protein and just getting enough of it in, to help mitigate that hunger, to help mitigate that muscle loss, to help speed up the process of your journey to make it more consistent long term. So that's all I really got for you guys, though. I'm not saying go out and eat a whole pound and a half of like meat, but I am saying sometimes you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do what it takes to get the results. So other than that, though, I'm gonna go have dinner with my family. I'm gonna go eat some protein. Got some chicken and broccoli and a baked potato. It's going to be good. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Kira, I see it. This is a great, important topic. Thank you. Kelsey, I see you. This is great knowledge. I appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you for that. Let me know your guys' number one takeaway in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to pop them into the chat. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. Have a great freaking winning Wednesday. Feel free to post a win in the chat. If you're watching this at a later time, #replay. Let me know your guys' number one takeaway. Have a good ass rest of your night. I appreciate the fuck out of everybody who tuned in. Have a good one, everybody. Peace.